AmityCast. My name is Ellis,
And my name is Matthew.
and today we're talking about the hit new film. I'm very excited to talk about it. It was released, and we watched it. That is what happened.
Yeah, this movie sucked.
Okay, yeah. The 1984 film Dune. It was pretty bad. To be completely honest, just like a terrible screenplay that didn't coincide with the well-written book at all. Bad dialogue. All the performances are stiff. Overall, it was just super boring, and it was extremely rushed with terrible pacing. 1984 Dune, just a really bad movie. Probably 3 out of 10 max. That's generous.
Yeah, but the new one though was actually really good.
Yeah, so we went and saw the new Dune, which is part 1 technically. Dune part 1.
Yeah.
It's another film adaptation of the same source material, Frank Herbert's original novel Dune. And this one is much more impressive, I gotta say.
Yeah, this movie was well, I walked in expecting it to be visually amazing and really well made because his previous work is also stellar. I think the only work I've seen of him is Arrival, I think. And
yeah, Arrival's really good.
And Arrival was very good. Everybody I saw it with didn't like it, which confused me. But this movie was it was amazing as just to watch it. I know it came on HBO Max, but seriously, see this in the theater if you can, especially IMAX or a really good theater because this is an amazing film to watch in the theater experience.
As a theater experience, this film was remarkable. Absolutely.
This was,
it was
probably my best.
really
This is
cool.
definitely probably my favorite, my best theater experience, in the whole year.
Yeah, I gotta say, I think this is the best experience. As far as what was happening on screen, the best experience within a theater so far this year. And I gotta say, Dune is probably my favorite movie, my favorite new release this year so far, probably.
Really, over Halloween Kill?
Yeah, over Halloween Kills. I mean, as far as the actual best movie, I think Halloween Kills is gonna end up being my favorite just as a Halloween fan. Or I don't know. I enjoyed Spiral, even though the Spiral was terrible.
Hey, it was fine.
I mean, I guess
It was I guess it was better than the last few Saw movies, but that's really easy.
Yeah, that's very true. But I gotta say, the only ones that are I mean, the Suicide Squad was solid.
Did you see that in the theaters?
What did you say?
You saw the Suicide Squad in theaters?
I didn't see it in the theater, but it's just a new release that I remember, and it was probably the best one up until this point. There hadn't been very many.
I mean, I
ones.
think I don't know. I think Godzilla vs Kong might. It's at least very close to this one because just seeing that in theaters for the first time in an actual movie theater after so long was just such an amazing experience. Even though the movie itself wasn't amazing, but it's just seeing it.
The overall experience of GVK, it probably can't be topped just as far as this year goes, because that just with everything relating to it, leading up to it, and everything, all that, plus being a huge fan of kaiju and the two characters and all that, that was incredible. Yeah, the film wasn't great. It wasn't very good, I guess.
I mean, it was great at what it was doing, but I mean, as a film, Dune is probably there's there really isn't any aspect of this movie I think is bad. The only thing.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
It's really hard for me to pull a flaw out of this. It's very rarely, but I literally had a scene where just the visuals, the storytelling, and even the music and the sound design, it just left my jaw literally dropped. It was the scene with the sandworm chase. Just seeing an IMAX and literally hearing and feeling every sound and musical piece and really just feeling enriched in this world. It left my jaw on the floor. This is
that scene
yeah.
was absolutely amazing. In fact, scene after scene, not only is the visual direction immaculate, it was so beautiful as a movie, and it was stunning visually from like a cinematography standpoint. But scene after scene was so enticing, and it was so compelling, and everything mixed together so well. The score was very good. The visual storytelling, as well as the character like progression that was going on within it, everything flowed together really well, and it just made it that much more impressive. It has some minor flaws, I think, which bog it down. Obviously, it's not perfect,
The
but
biggest
it is.
the biggest flaw I have with this movie really isn't even like a flaw of the movie. It doesn't feel like a complete narrative, and I know it's because there isn't a part two. There is going to be though, but it feels very like the ending just kind of like cuts off. Like it isn't like a terrible ending or anything. Like it doesn't feel as like I feel like the most comparable example is actually Halloween Kills, because like that ended and it clearly like has like a continuation, but like this film still feels like pretty much complete. It just you really just want more. Like I didn't really want it to end,
Yeah,
which
that's
is a
what I
good
think.
thing.
I think that's the biggest compliment I could pay to it because it is really long and it is quite a slow burn, an effective one, and the fact that I got to the end of it of the near 2.5 hours. I mean, even with the credits, is about 2 hours 40 minutes roughly. Even with all of that, I wanted to see it keep going, and I would have watched it all the way to the end, and like I just think it was so fantastic in handling all of what it had to throughout that I think it was incredible. It definitely makes sense with what this is about because the original novel is so long and it's such a rich, nuanced story. So it definitely couldn't have fit into one movie. It would have been far too long. Splitting it up into this movie and a part two, I didn't know if they were gonna do like a first and a second, or if they were gonna do a trilogy. What the plan was gonna be. I don't know if they're gonna expand past the second one. Who knows? But like,
I'm
I
pretty
like the choice to split it up. But like, it definitely makes this one feel a bit more. It's like Halloween Kills. It feels like not as complete. But that isn't much of a flaw, I guess. It's just kind of like something that's like, oh, I can't wait to see the follow up to this.
well, yeah, it won't. With both those movies, it won't be a problem once in the future both of these movies get their continuation, and like you could watch them, and just put in the next one, because then I don't have that problem anymore, and I pretty much don't have any problems with this. Pretty much every scene I wasn't bored in, which was I was kind of concerned going in because like I don't know much about the source material, but the trailers like they impressed me, but I wasn't like super enthralled to see it. It was mainly like the reactions from the film and the director himself. I knew it would be much better than what I probably thought it would be, but the just like the setting, it was just it kind of concerned me if they'd be able to keep me engaged in just like a desert for 2.5 hours and me not get bored at all. And they really like succeeded at pretty much like 95% of the time, which was really surprising. And even in the beginning, I noticed like they delivered exposition in like the most natural way I've seen in like a really long time, and it was like really well done.
Yeah, it was incredible. A lot of really well done establishing shots, another testament to how well the cinematography was, and just it is a lot of exposition with this movie, but it's handled in a very gentle way, and it's interwoven into the story very well. And I think it does a great job building the world, and building up the characters and what we're supposed to like learn. Um, it gets you connected to it, I think, really well. I was really impressed because even like through the first 15 minutes, it had felt like a good amount of time because of the pace, like the slow pace to it. But like at the same time, I had felt all so connected to the world that we were viewing and the characters, and I was so excited for the rest of the film at that moment. I was like, okay, this is gonna be good.
Yeah, and not even to mention just like the ship designs and like the world designs, like it's really incredibly unique, and and like I honestly like loved a lot of the characters more than I thought I would. And I'm sure you knew this because you read the book, but I didn't like expect any of the deaths that happened, and like all of them were like really shocking and like surprisingly emotional for like how little screen time like we had, because it really was just like a one movie with these characters, and all the actors were also amazing. Like I was worried with like maybe like Jason Momoa, he would just spend like Aquaman and Dune, but like it was like really well acted in this movie, which speaks to the director and the team behind this, that there was a lot of passion involved.
Absolutely, yeah. Jason Momoa was better than I expected. I expected him to maybe drag down the film, but honestly, like, he wasn't like great, but he definitely did a solid job. He did what he had to do with the performance, and yeah, I pretty much knew which deaths were coming. I had pretty much accurately predicted where this one was going to cut off. I assumed, like, at the point where the film ended was where they were probably going to cut off the first movie, because it's about halfway through the book, kind of. It's like roughly halfway. So I assumed which deaths were coming, but even then, I felt so attached to these portrayals of the characters, like with, I guess, spoilers, whatever. But with Leto, Duke Leto, Paul's dad, that death was like really impactful, and like it, from an emotional standpoint and a story standpoint, I think it was great. Duncan Idaho, which is Jason Momoa's character, that was handled with a lot of care, and it was a really well done scene, I think. It was just, the characters I think were great. I think one of my main things with it that like kind of like brings it down a little is like not every performance is like fantastic. It's all kind of weird, but like at the same time, it's all supposed to be weird because it's like in the novel, it's like humans don't like act the same to how they always have. So like people are just like it's all odd, but it's supposed to be, and I think it's handled really well.
Yeah, I really liked Oscar Isaac's character, the dad. He was. I didn't really expect that. I thought he might have died in this movie, but I didn't expect it that early on. And there was some like really good dialogue in this movie as well. Like there's that one line with Paul and his dad where like Paul's like saying like, what if I'll never be like good enough as you were, or like be a king, or like rise up and then like to the occasion. And then the dad's like supporting, which is kind of like, it's not like as seen in these movies because usually it's like the parents are strict or whatever, but it's just like he's like, I believe in you, and even if somehow you don't succeed in what I think you can do, you still have done the only thing I ever needed of you to be, my son. Like there was like really good lines like that, and really good writing, really good direction, and the little action we got, which there wasn't a lot of action in this, was also very well done. And I know like they said part 2 would be like a lot more action, which I'm excited for that.
Part 2 is going to be a lot more high octane, just based on what the story is. That's going to be for sure. Because I like how this one was handled, because it's a lot of exposition, but like it's handled in like a lot of creative and unique ways. With like strong aspects, like you were saying, like with the dialogue, the majority of the performances, definitely the visuals and the cinematography and all that. It made it just so impressive, and all that exposition is definitely, if they can continue this into part 2, it's going to make all of it feel so worth it, and there's going to be a lot of payoffs, hopefully. So
yeah, I don't know exactly how long this is going to go. I know the director said, I'm pretty sure the director seems like such a big fan. I'm sure if this part 2 does well, he would easily adapt every book. I don't know how many there are exactly. I think there's like 7 or something, but
yeah, there's 6 books.
Yeah, and if like there's like a 2-parter for the first one, and then like the rest are like one movie, I guess that would be like a big franchise. And like if it was like this consistent quality that like went over like like over a decade of these type of movies, it would be like amazing. This was a very good introduction, and like everything was like given to the viewer, I think, that like they could like understand what's going on enough. Because this is like similar to Star Wars, I guess, because this is like what Star Wars was based on, but this is like a lot more like political and about like lines and lineage and like different planets and their politics, and it's a little less big space battles and like war, which gives this film, it's very unique for this.
Yeah.
And I like it because I don't want it to just be Star Wars. I mean, of course, some of it's going to be like Star Wars, of course. You have the young male protagonist that's basically going to be like the main character through all this. That's going to be like, they kind of like, I don't remember what the term was, but he's kind of like a chosen one of sorts, because he has like this magic mind power, which is, like the Force, but different. And like I really like that
Yeah.
too. That was a really cool ability that they showed. I don't remember what it was called, but it was very well done. And
Yeah,
like
I don't.
the audio they did with
As
that
far as I
was
know,
like
it's just the voice.
what
As far as I know, it's just the voice.
the voice, yeah. And then like the way that they like edit that and like make it sound different was like it was very well done. I don't like like it feels weird to mention it, but I just like the audio and like sound design was like it was so like amazing. Like I felt like I was on like this world. I felt like I was in the desert. I felt like I was in.
Yeah,
I felt like I was in the
I
movie.
gotta say, yeah, the sound design is the best I've seen in like a big movie in a while. It's fantastic. Like it's so well done, and it really elevates every scene in the movie is elevated by the sound design and the great score that was like so well. I don't even know who the composer was, but it was really well done. Um,
Yeah, not even
and
to
like
mention there was like
all
these.
those little fundamental things, like
Yeah, not to mention there was even like small emotional moments that just like really, really were well done. Like when Paul like actually like realizes his father's dead and like he freaks out on his mom and then like you just see them like embrace each other, but like that just like without like the dialogue it was so well like acted. And then like it lingered on it. Like this film was like it was like a slow burn, which I love slow burn movies when they're done well, and this was like a perfect slow burn that
yes,
really
it
just
was
like
so good.
was on everything. It kept on shots long enough that like I really just like got to like take it all in, and like it wasn't too fast paced or anything like Venom 2. And this was just amazing. And I think there was a lot of practical sets as well, and because this movie like was made for like less than 200 million, which is surprising to me. And
Yeah, that when I learned that, it floored me. I was like, "There's no way."
yeah, I know like the marketing was a bit more, and like of course like the big like sandworm scenes and like big like space scenes were probably like a lot of money, and not to mention the sandworms were amazing, very well done, and like they weren't used like a lot in this movie. They're definitely advertised a lot with this storyline, but the way that they like portrayed like their massive size and like they literally like just seeing them like in the distance, it was like Jaws, like when you just see like the fin in the water. It's just like that's like almost better than actually seeing like the actual sandworm. But like when they actually like do show up, it's like this jaw dropping scene, especially like in an IMAX setting. Like the sound like literally shakes your chairs, and like it's amazing.
I'm sure that was absolutely stunning. Because like, yeah, you're right. I mean, the way that they depict the gravity of the sandworms and like how it affects this world that they're setting up, and like they establish the world very well, and like all these characters and like the different like communities within it is just
And that like
it's all handled with so much care.
and like that taste when like because he has like these like flash forwards to the future kind of, which I'm assuming will play more of a role in the future. Because another thing is like Zendaya's character was like in like the trailers like a lot, but like she's probably only in like 10% of this whole movie. That's 2.5 hours. I know like they said she'd be like in the next one more, but like she's on the posters and stuff, and like she's maybe in 10 minutes of the movie. And
Yeah, her character barely does anything besides like be like kind of like an acting point for Paul. He's just kind of like she's just kind of a plot point within his world mainly, and like she doesn't like appear
yeah,
very much.
and I'm sure she'll be fleshed out in the future, which is another thing. It's like there's like some things that just kind of feel like set up and like they need to be continued and like they need to be fleshed out. And I know it will be. So it's like I'm not gonna hold it against this movie. I feel like once like we get a continuation, like this movie will like just be even better, which is I'm surprised that will even happen, but probably most certainly will. And that one flash forward, like they show like the action scene where he's like in that armor and like there's like this big fight scene and like you see like the sandworms in the background and stuff like jumping out. Just like if we like see scenes like that in the sequel, which I assume we are, it's just gonna be like amazing. If like you have like these slow burn type of character moments and like political like messaging, and you have like these amazing, well realized action scenes, it's gonna be like I might honestly like this more than Star Wars. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it's fantastic. I'll get into it a bit more later, but just how much it pertains back to the book and like seeing all of it like brought to a true like this true visual scale.
Yeah, I was
is
gonna
just
ask you like how accurate is this like compared to the book than say like the original movie, which is just like not really.
Yeah, I mean, the original movie like it obviously follows the storyline, but like with the way they like handled it, it just didn't work out like at all. To like what like a true vision would actually be, and this looks like a true depiction of like what I envision when I read the book. Like seeing this movie, like seeing like the true scale of it and like the importance and just the impact and all of that. Because the Dune book, it's a very long book. It's a very nuanced story, but it's one of my favorite books. It's fantastic. It's just it's a very compelling story, and the only way to do it justice is with a movie that just it is so big like this one, because this film is massive. Like the scale of it is out of the park, and just so many different things about it. And if it's handled with care, pertaining back to that story, like I mean, like the sandworms, Shea Halud, it's like a big deal in the book, like kind of like how much you see it depicted in the movie, because like the desert is like the whole like thing, and like it represents a lot that has to do with a lot of different political ideas and a lot of different cultures, but like seeing how the sandworm affects it, and like how in the books it's such a big deal. In the film, they actually show how these people they kind of worship it in a way of like how they're like afraid of it, and how they like live their lives and how it affects their lives. And it's great to see it depicted in such a great way. It left me really impressed. Yeah, honestly, like just everything with how that was handled was extremely impressive. Like how I envisioned it. I think it's Timothée Chalamet. I don't know how exactly to pronounce the actor's name, but his performance of Paul felt so much like the character from the book, and his mother was well done as well. Oscar Isaac did a great job as the dad. Leto was like one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, he was such a good character. Yeah, because he really represented a lot of like the actual like good leadership, and like just ripping that away was like such a good emotional beat.
Yeah, for sure. And I forgot who the actor was, but and I always forget to say his name, but the villain, the primary antagonist.
Yeah, he was very villainous. He wasn't in a lot, which I assume is like he'll definitely be involved in the future. But like how like they handled like his design, which was all practical, was incredible.
Yeah, it's actually fantastic. I was looking into the story about it, how they found like the actor for like the base of the character, and how like how he doesn't have like much of a history in acting or whatever, but he was like Dennis Villeneuve. He actually met him, and he was just like, honestly, he would be perfect for Harkonnen. That's who it is, the Baron Harkonnen. And he's just depicted so well. Really, really menacing. Really good setup. There's not much emotional setup with him, but like it's just more of like how he's like the big bad, and he's depicted as such, and how he's disrespectful and he's rude, and he's like got these like weird supernatural elements to him. And it's just super cool in my opinion.
Yeah, that one scene with the doctor when he's like just wanting his wife back, and he's like he like says like basically like, yeah, I dealt with her and you can see her again, just like close your eyes, and he just like murdered him or whatever he said. That was like a really fucking good scene, like for villains.
It was so hardcore.
And yeah, for a second I thought they killed him, but then like of course they didn't. But yeah.
Yeah, that was a moment that I was like, okay, I don't know how they're gonna depict this, of how they're gonna show like his near death. I don't know if they're gonna make it seem like he really died, and then like later on it's just gonna be like, oh, by the way, he's taking a bath, he's fine.
Yeah, I mean they showed like the scene finding him, but like another thing about this though, just like makes it so much better than like a lot of these other movies coming out. Is just like a lot of these movies lately. I'm not gonna like say like they copy Marvel or anything, but like a lot of these movies like aren't like super serious, and like they make a lot of jokes, and like they don't like have super like big issues and like these bigger blockbuster stuff. Like even in Halloween Kills, there was like a lot of comedy that like a lot of it didn't work for me. And like this movie didn't like have a lot of comedy. Like it did have comedy, but like genuinely like most of it worked for me like well enough. It was a lot of dry humor, which worked for me. But like this movie was very much like its own thing, you know, like it didn't try to be anything else, which I really admired, because like making a movie like this, there's not like a lot of confidence in that's gonna make a lot of money or like be like this big thing, because it's just like Dune is like a very niche like franchise almost that like never really got like its due theatrically, and it's not like as well known as like Star Wars, but like they really brought this world into like this modern era, and I know like the author is probably long dead, but I'm pretty sure he'd probably be very happy with this adaptation, because it's so like well taken care of, and like it's so well done in like the film format, that like it really just leaves me super excited to see the next one, even though it's 2 years away. And like however they continue the story, I'd be more than happy seeing like 7 of these, if it was of this consistent quality or even better. This was just like really solid. I didn't go in with super high expectations, besides knowing it was going to be an amazing experience, especially in IMAX and a packed theater, which was very nice to see. Because I think it was even more packed than Halloween Kills, which was weird because it was a Monday night at 9 o'clock at night. And
that is very weird.
it was mostly adults, but that was probably why. It was so weird to see like these groups of people like coming to see Dune. I thought this movie would flop, honestly, but I think it's actually done. I know it's made over 200 million as of now, which is like very good for like pandemic numbers.
Yeah, it's been very good.
It even beat Halloween Kills, which I kind of expected because the reviews haven't been the greatest. But it's also like around Halloween, so I figured Halloween Kills would have stayed somewhere like near the top until like after Halloween. But I don't know.
Yeah, it's really nice to see people actually wanting to go see this movie. It's nice to see it looks to be garnering a bit of a following, which is awesome. Because I definitely think it deserves it. Just as a story, like I think it deserved a lot of hype because it looked like a true, an actual filled with care depiction of the original story, which it's so good. Like it's one of the greatest novels of all time, and like it's been handled that way for a long time. Like a lot of people growing up back in those older eras have read it. Like I asked like both of my parents, and both of them like it was a big part. Like growing up in school, the Dune story, and it's one of the biggest science fiction stories ever. And the fact that the first film we got, 1984, which Frank Herbert, the author, he died in '86, so he was like barely alive to see that adaptation is really sad, because that movie just was not handled with enough care. It wasn't given the correct direction, in my opinion, and
Yeah, that
it just
really
kind of flopped as a
that
film.
really sucks. Yeah.
Yeah, and as a fan of the book, I think yeah, he's been dead for 30 years now, which is upsetting, but I think that he would definitely approve of this adaptation much more so, because it seems it's more accurate, but not only that, it's actually handled like how you would imagine a visual version of the story to be. Um, Not just talking about how it succeeds on every fundamental level, like the visuals and the sound, but the story is well written, and it actually includes so much of the political subtext and all of the parts of the story that were nuanced into it that were so important to Herbert, and just like why he wrote this book and why he put so much time into it. Like I remember like reading that it took him like at least 2 decades to like flesh out this story and write it out and like do all these books. So it's incredible to see a film adaptation with so much care put into it, and it was so well done, and it was so impressive.
Yeah, that really sucks. He died right after the really bad adaptation. I mean, I haven't seen it, so I don't know if it really is terrible. It definitely looks very bad, but I know that movie was rushed, and I know like the director did want to make a good movie, but no, it's not. 'Cause I remember I even saw like a post, like somebody interviewed the director of the original Dune, and like they were asking him like his thoughts on the new one, and like he's refusing to see the new one because I guess it'd be too sad for him, I guess, because he would see like a better adaptation of something he really wanted to do, which I guess is understandable, but still like, come on, dude, it's been like 30 years, but
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I have respect for David Lynch. I don't fully blame him. I mean, like, yeah, he wrote the screenplay, and the screenplay was not very good. But I know that it was a passion project for him to make the original Dune film. He really wanted it to turn out well. It just, from an artistic standpoint, it just wasn't as impressive. And it is a shame that is like the film adaptation we had for nearly 40 years. and it's just how it goes in filmmaking sometimes.
Yeah, like my
It, it,
parents,
it,
like my parents have only seen the original Dune, and if I remember one time I brought up Dune and like that like my dad approved of it or whatever, and like or like recommended it, which I was like no, but my parents laughed and said, of course he's the type of guy that would like Dune, because like all they have to compare it to is like this really boring, dull, 80s movie that like isn't good at all, and like this is much better. This is downright amazing. This is like amazing. I love this film. I would gladly
yeah,
watch this, and I would
I
gladly
honestly,
watch this again.
I like it.
I would gladly watch this again. I will definitely probably buy it. Um, maybe a steelbook. We'll
Yes,
see.
I'm actually desperately hoping a steelbook comes out. Honestly.
I'm pretty sure there will be one. I don't know. We'll see. There is a Sharknado steelbook, so we'll see. But
Yeah, there's also a Clash of the Titans one and a Journey to the Center of the Earth one. So
yeah, they're being sold in 2021 as like new, like things you can buy. But then again,
yeah, I'm really hoping for a steelbook, but
I feel like there probably will be. I also feel like it'll be a very simplistic steelbook, which will probably be perfect. But I would definitely buy that, and I would gladly watch this in the theaters again. I just don't see myself doing that because it really is a commitment. Um,
yeah, it is. It's worth it, but like it is a commitment.
yeah, I was very happy seeing it once. When I got out of the theater, it was like 11:30 or whatever the fuck, and um, I didn't regret the time watching it, and the fact that like as we've said, when it ended, I was like, I want more. I didn't want it to end. It speaks a lot, and I can tell just in every scene how much the director is putting care into it, and how much the actors are actually trying, and it's amazing to see. There's no acting that I feel like is like done bad. I don't think there's any cheesy dialogue for like such a weird
Yeah,
story.
the only one I really disapprove of, and it doesn't even matter because he's not in it very much, is probably Dave Bautista.
He has a very
Because he was just
he's very loud in this movie.
it was very loud. He just seemed kind of stale with it, but like he doesn't appear very much, and like he visually he fits the part of that character really well. So I was completely fine with it.
I thought he was menacing. I didn't have much problem with it because he wasn't in it much.
Right, yeah.
One thing that was kind of weird was Josh Brolin's character, which I liked him. It's just he kind of like
Yeah, I was gonna say Josh Brolin was kind of he wasn't like incredible. I don't.
he
Really
randomly disappeared, which I don't know if he died. I don't know if I missed the scene, but I don't know if he comes back later in the books. I feel like he might be alive, but he just kind of like disappeared. I kind of like thought like maybe he'd come back later on, or like there would be like some revelation about his death, but like nothing got brought up. So I'm assuming he's still alive. I don't know, but because like every other death was like you actually like saw it and like it was like impactful and like they lingered on it, which was good.
Yeah, and it was handled really well.
And like the only thing in a review I saw that I kind of agree with, like structure wise, that they had a problem with, besides it being like a part one, which you know this movie is called Dune Part One if you watch the movie, and
Yeah.
which is kind of funny because like I remember it did that as well, and like I remember when I saw it Chapter One, at the end when it said it and like Chapter One beneath it, somebody like next to me in the theater like stood up and was like, I fucking knew it, they're gonna make a part two, and it's like no shit. And then
Like yeah.
yeah, half the story wasn't told. What do you mean? And then what was I saying? Only like structural problem I had was with the doctor character, and his like his turn to be bad, because I guess like in like the original source material was a little bit more developed upon, and then this it kind of just came up. It still worked for me though.
Yeah. Yeah. I can like understand like to people who don't know the story that probably was just kind of like abrupt, and it was just like, oh, okay, this character that we don't know very well is like a betrayal. And like in the book it's a much bigger moment, but in the film it isn't as much so.
It's
Which
not like a
is
problem.
fine, of course.
It's not a problem. It's just if
Yeah.
I had to point something out, like when it happened, I was like, okay, I guess that makes sense because of his wife or whatever. But like, it just kind of like randomly happened, and I was like, okay, we're doing this now. And then they kill like one of my favorite characters, and I was like, okay. And I've seen a lot of complaints about Paul, like the character, but like from what I've also heard, he's like just like how he is in the books. He's supposed to be kind of like this stoic, kind of closed off protagonist, and he kind of fits like the mold of
Yeah,
like.
especially the first half of the book because he's got so much development that happens in this movie and still has to happen. I think it was portrayed well, and Paul is
Yeah.
such an important character. He's such a great, well-written character, and it takes time to flesh him out.
Well,
You
yeah, I
have to see his
assume.
development all the way through the
Yeah,
arc.
I've seen a lot of complaints about it, but like I think it worked in this movie because he's still like young, and I think it'll be developed because it was very much like, like Luke Skywalker at Episode 4. It wasn't like a terrible like performance, maybe a little bad, but like the character itself, it made sense in like the grander story. It just like he was seemed. It's just like it didn't work maybe as well as it will later on once like the actual full development happens. But I've seen a lot of complaints about that, and I don't really get it because I think the acting by whatever his name is was very good. Especially that one scene where he puts his hand in the box. I don't remember what the box was called, but that was like a very well acted scene because he literally just has his hand, just has his hand in the box.
And,
When they're filming that, he just put his hand in the box. Like nothing was happening. He just had to pretend like he was going through like a sheer amount of torture.
yeah, and it was a good start to that development too because like it was such a brutal scene, and he had to portray a lot of emotions just with his face. And he had to like really make it seem like he was like going through a torturous pain, but also like finding himself like come through it and overcome it to really start establishing that character because that was still a bit early on. And that was extremely well done. It's one of my favorite like character arcs in any novel is Paul's. So seeing how it like really gets going in this movie, I think is incredible.
Yeah. What else was?
I can't really complain about loose plot threads, obviously, because
It's continuing.
it's a part one.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's like stuff left, but of course it's gonna continue. Not only in a part 2, but like if they make like the book sequels into like movies too as well. You haven't read the sequels, have you? Do you even know like what happens to the whole story?
No, not really, actually. I pretty much just know the first one really well, and I've read half of the second one, which is Dune Messiah. But I don't really remember much of it because I stopped.
That's a good title.
Through and I was like, "What'd you say?"
That's a good title, but
yeah.
was like the second one also like good as much as you read?
Yeah, from what I had read, it was still good. I just don't think it really measures up to that first one because like. But it was still really well written, and like I'm interested in like maybe I think after it's gonna be a couple years before we get part 2, which is upsetting, but obviously it didn't get greenlit until just this past week. So it'll be like I do want to like read through all of the books and like really get like myself like caught up with the entire story because I think it's probably really well done. I mean, Frank Herbert was an incredible novelist, so. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm assuming like he completed it, right? Like he didn't like, it's not like it ended before like he actually finished it, right? Because like he ended it and that was like the ending, wasn't it?
Yeah, as far as I know, there was like a true ending at the end of the 6th book, and it was like it was an actual wrap up with payoff. So.
Yeah, I don't know how well those were received, but I would definitely be interested in seeing all those adapted. By this director specifically because he seems to really understand it, and I haven't seen all of his films, but like I can tell if I watched any of his films I'd probably love it. It's just he's really good at storytelling and visuals and like this sci-fi adventurous genre and like character pieces, and because I know like his last movie was Blade Runner 2049. I didn't see that. I wanted to see it, but I didn't end up seeing it. But I know that movie was also very well received, especially as a sequel. Like nobody thought you'd make a sequel to Blade Runner, especially like 40 years later. And like some people, I know like there's a vast majority of people that actually prefer 2049 to the original, which just speaks to how well of a director he is in like storytelling.
Yeah, I probably prefer 2049 because I think just as an achievement, it was extremely impressive. And then. Yeah, seeing his work just throughout all of what he's done, and and now with like obviously with Arrival, which was fantastic.
That movie was fantastic as well. It wasn't like I haven't watched it since it came out, but I do remember having a few problems with it. But like the storytelling and like the visuals and like how it was so different from typical alien invasion movies was just spectacular, and I loved every minute of it. And same with that movie. When it ended, I was honestly fine if it was even longer, because that movie was also like 2.5 hours. I would have loved more of those scenes where like they're like interacting with the aliens and like understanding language and how to communicate with each other. Just scenes like that are just absolutely amazing and incredibly well done. And
Yeah,
he's really good at actors. Like I know there's that one scene where it became like a meme that was like Ryan Gosling in Blade Runner where like he's just like in a room and like he just like screams and like loses his shit at like a note or something. Just like it seems like that is just like so well acted, because I think like a lot of his movies get nominated for Oscars. I don't see how this movie's not going to be like nominated for like sound design or like acting or like best picture even, because like this is just it really just like ticks all the boxes.
yeah, for sure. I It really doesn't have any glaring issues that I have found. I mean, I'll probably watch it again just to see. But the theater experience was absolutely fantastic, and I haven't seen every new release this year, but out of the ones that I've seen, this is definitely the best one because it has been it was remarkable. It truly was. Like on a fundamental level, everything was done to perfection pretty much. Like the visuals are stunning. The sound is so compelling, and it's so well interwoven, and everything mixes with the story progression well, and the characters are well written, and the chemistry between them is fantastic, and everything truly feels like a proper adaptation of the book, and that's what makes this entire thing just incredible to me.
Yeah, and just everything was like amazing. I put on a new image for the show here, and I put the screenshot of like when like the sandworm like comes out and like weirdly like stares at the characters, and just like that scene itself was like so like magnificent, and like how like they made like the mouth of the worm like almost look like an eye into like something bigger was like just so like amazing. And like the music too, and like the sound design, I can't like praise enough how amazing this like
Yeah.
sounded.
It was flooring. It was absolutely incredible, and like with that moment, it was so good, because it felt like probably like the big moment that like leads right into like the final scene, at least that final little bit, and that moment with the sandworm, we've already seen it like devour that entire like ship, and we've seen it already cause so much havoc, and we've seen how people think about it and react to it, and we're starting to get feels for like what like it actually represents and what it truly means. In that moment when it stares at Paul, who is our protagonist, who is having a great character arc so far, and is so important, and like what like this moment actually means, and then the sandworm goes away because of like that thumb or whatever they're called, I forgot. Just that scene was incredible, and then also the ending was really good. Obviously, it's like a part one type of ending, so it's like there's so much more of the story left to tell. But it was really cool seeing Paul continue, like when they had that fight scene.
Yeah, it was a very good
And
fight scene. It felt a little weird, like I randomly wanted to kill him. Like I know it was like their culture, but like it was just like it was just weird how like he was the only one that was so adamant that he had to like fight this guy, and I was like, oh my god, just chill. But
yeah, it was kind of weird. In film, it was kind of weirdly portrayed, and then like Zendaya's character finally like had like actual lines, and like she was fine, I guess. I don't know. I was just kind of like, okay, Zendaya's here. And then she was just like, so anyways, since you're gonna die, I'm gonna give you this. And then she's like, yeah. So anyway, on the day that you die, and like you're gonna be holding this when you die. It was like everyone was so persistent, like, okay, so you're gonna die.
yeah, and yeah, I guess that might be the only thing. I don't. I'm not particularly floored by Zendaya's acting in what I've seen. So
Yeah, I mean,
we'll
Zendaya
see.
wasn't very much. She wasn't. I don't know. She didn't really get a chance to fully live out the performance yet, obviously. But from what it was, I was just kind of like, okay,
And I'm assuming like her and Paul will be like the main characters throughout all the stories, because it's very much being set up that way. And the like at the end, it ended on a very like almost positive note, even though it definitely wasn't, because like you see him like accepted in this world and being a bit more accepted by the people there. And like you have like the scene of the guy riding the worm, which I'm assuming that was also in the books, but that was just like a very weird image to see.
That's gonna be a much bigger deal in the next one. So
Yeah, it was a very weird image to just kind of leave us on. It was like, oh, okay, I guess you can just do that. But yeah, because like they like say the size and like they're like what like 1,000 feet long, which is just like so like like massive.
New kaiju.
Yeah, and like I've already seen videos pop up and it's like Godzilla versus the sandworm, who would win? And it's like, okay, well, one of them's a fucking worm, and one of them spits atomic blast. But yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen Godzilla in a desert. So
And also, like, I mean, I guess Godzilla could show up since he's technically a Warner Brothers property at the moment, but also they would never do that. Honestly, like, if the director of this like ever made like a serious like 1954 style like thematic Godzilla movie, I would probably honestly like die in the theater. But
I would be beyond happy. Like I could die satisfied with that.
or like a camera movie.
Yes. Yeah, okay. No, honestly, that has to happen now. I'm gonna call him and we're gonna make that happen. I don't care.
Also, have you like seen him and Christopher Nolan? Which they're like good friends, I know, but like they they interviewed each other for like this movie, and like they just kept like patting each other on the back. He's like, "Oh my god, I love Dune. It was amazing. I love everything about it. Let me talk about how much I love Dune." And then like him in response is like, "Thank you for loving the movie, but I also really love Tenet. Like I love everything about it and like how innovative it was. I love Tenet."
Yeah, that sounds like them.
And it's like Tenet's like a 6 out of 10, but
yeah, I still haven't seen Tenet, but yeah.
I need to watch it again. I guess it's really hard to rate that movie first time, but for some reason my parents wanted to see that in theaters, and I was like, yeah, sure. It was like enjoyable. It was just very confusing. That would be like an example of a movie that like in contrast with this, like the exposition was like too much and not like as well executed as in this movie. But that movie had a lot more weird stuff. But this is an amazing film overall. I am going to watch the second part. I'm going to be eagerly.
Even it's like as like a sci-fi film. Like for sci-fi fans, it's incredible because of the great world building and then like all the awesome like. Because it's supposed to take place in 10,191, the year 10,191. That's like the whole. That's always been the thing with Dune. Is that like it's way off in the future. But like the super awesome like different worlds they visit. Like the desert is so like expansive and like how they expand upon it.
Yeah. Also,
the like ships and like, they use.
I don't know if you know this, but like, is like this whole storyline, like this whole like 7 books or like 6 books, so like this whole like storyline, is it only set on this planet, or like do we actually explore other planets?
As far as I know, there is more that's explored. I mean, Arrakis is like the big deal. It's like the majority of it is all about Arrakis, and like that kind of ties into like the ideas of imperialism because that's the only place like in the universe that still has the spice is what it's called, which is extremely important. So like Arrakis is like the big deal, but like they do expand to other worlds, I believe, in the later books. As far as I know, I don't know for sure though because I haven't fully read them, but that's just based on what I've heard.
Yeah, that's just the only possible concern I would have with future stories is like would like this setting get tiring. But I'm assuming if they follow the narrative well enough, there's enough source material to keep this going. But like that was like the biggest like thing. It's like would they be able to like actually keep us entertained in like a barren desert world for like 2.5 hours? And they really did very well. It'll definitely be interesting to see how like they keep it like fresh and like engaging in like the next film and like presumably future films. Because this movie's actually done pretty well, and the next one's not going to have an HBO Max like same day release, and I imagine that one will do better because like the trailers will have a lot more action and probably bring in a lot more people. So I'm assuming this will be like a franchise, which does make me quite happy.
Yeah, I'm satisfied with that. I love the idea of a new franchise that I can actually follow, especially if it's all handled the same way that this first um, base laying, like
Well, yeah,
initial
yeah.
releases.
If they bring in any
I'll be
if they bring in any other director, I would be very concerned. But yeah,
yeah, no.
yeah. This guy really gets it. I'm glad the studio let him make this movie, and they didn't Justice League it, make him cut it down, and not let him make a sequel or anything. It seems like the studio might be
Yeah,
learning its
it's a
ways.
little
I
it's
don't
a
know.
little concerning every time you see the Warner Brothers logo, but like
So far, they've been good. As long as I don't get involved with this next one or any other ones. Actually, just don't get involved with any other movies they make. Because this is the
yeah,
same.
maybe just let the
This
studios
is the
create.
same studio that was like Superman Returns. I love that. Let's make that. Catwoman. I love that. Let's make that. And yeah,
Zack Snyder's Justice League. Let's not do that. Joss Whedon. Um,
yeah. Let's just that whole situation. It's so weird because this movie's done well as well. This movie's done well, and like they greenlit a sequel. But then like Zack Snyder's Justice League is like the best like new like original content they had on HBO Max like ever, and like they're just like no.
yeah, that's
Like,
yeah,
because
that's true.
even if you don't love that story, it's just like seeing like that conclude would be like at the very least satisfying to see. Because like then I feel like I've been watching these movies for something, but then they're just like, no, here's the Flash.
Yeah, Warner Brothers is
I don't like how they handle
it's
DC. I don't like how they handle DC at all.
yeah, I'm pretty sure Warner Brothers is the biggest like film company by like overall like gross money earned and like the like properties. I think Universal Pictures has more movies, but Warner Brothers is
And
like bigger like monetarily.
it's not like I'm trashing on the studio because they have made a lot of stuff this year I like Godzilla versus Kong was amazing for what it was. Obviously that wasn't amazing as like a film. I don't know what the 5 hour cut was like, but and then they made of course that they released Zack Snyder's Justice League, which was another big thing, but they also released this movie, and they've made a lot of good releases this year, probably more than Disney, because Disney's like had like Shang-Chi, and then that was like about it, and
Yeah, I mean they have Raya and the Last Dragon, and they're about to have Enchanto, which I have no idea what that's supposed to be or if I should care.
and then
But
Eternals, and
well,
then
let us not forget that so far this year, the best movie, the best new release I've seen, and the worst new release I've seen have both been from Warner Brothers. So,
what was the worst?
because I think we're forgetting about Space Jam: A New Legacy.
Oh yeah, they didn't make that, but what was I gonna finish off was like they made like a lot of good films this year because like Dune is probably my favorite film I've seen this year. Is like an actual film, as like a franchise experience. I don't know, Godzilla vs Kong or Halloween Kills are definitely up there, but they
Yeah, I guess Godzilla vs Kong as an experience, just going to see it in the theater, and like I love that movie, I really do. Yes, it has a lot of flaws. It's not like a very good, like just pure film cinematic experience, but
well yeah the
I really
characters
did
are
enjoy it.
characters are so underdeveloped in that movie. It's crazy, but
Oh yeah, it has a lot of issues, but I love it. I really do. Just as a Godzilla fan, as a Kong fan, just a huge kaiju fan, just in general. But Dune, seriously, this is the best new release I've seen this year, like objectively, in my opinion. I think that it's fantastic in every way. I love it, honestly. Like I actually adore this movie. Seeing it in the theater is the way to go. I mean, sci-fi fans should be like number one on your list to see because it's incredible. And it's one of the best like actual serious slow burn movies that I've seen in a while. Like you said, like you talked about that earlier, like how there wasn't really any emphasis on comedy. Like there was some comedy, but it wasn't like really a big part of the movie at all.
it had its own
And like I love
formula.
that so much.
It didn't like follow. It didn't try to be anything except what the director like envisioned it
Right.
as like script. And I really like how it seems like Warner Brothers is letting these directors do that because we have of course this next part that will probably also be like 3 hours long, which I will also sit through in IMAX. I don't care. And then
Yes. I really want to see it in IMAX. That just sounds amazing.
yeah, it really was. And then I mean I would have took you to IMAX, but like I'm in Florida or whatever. But
True.
also. Okay, I'm stupid, but next year we're gonna have the Batman, which is also Warner Brothers, and it's gonna be like a 3 hour movie, I guess, and like that's gonna be amazing as well.
It looked everything that I've seen so far looks like it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, the only thing that's a little weird for me for that movie is like some of the costumes. I'm like, this is like really different, but I'm definitely excited for that because I don't care if like I'm in love with the trailers or not, but like if I hear that like they're gonna like let a director make his film and give him like not give him much time constraints, just let him make his vision, I'll be there. And with Dune, they definitely did that, and it's clearly succeeded. Maybe it's not doing as well as like they might need to make their budget back, but it's also a COVID pandemic, and they also released it same day on streaming, which I was gonna watch it on streaming, but then I just kind of like was like every single review I saw was like, don't see this in theaters. No, don't watch it like at home. Go to the theater and see this. It is like one of those once in a lifetime movies that you have to see that in theaters. You can't just watch it at home. It wasn't made for that. And it definitely was. If you want to see this movie, I 100% recommend seeing it in the biggest theater you can. And
yeah, I think it's and it is a slow burn. It's a long movie. It's a commitment, but it's so worth it if you're a film fan, sci-fi, otherwise, whatever. Because
and of course we don't have to recommend it. We don't have to recommend it to Dune fans because they probably have already seen it. To be perfectly honest.
Yeah, and they should because it's fantastic. I mean, the original book. I mean, if you like to read, definitely check out the book because the original book is one of the best novels I've ever read. It's fantastic.
Isn't it like 1,000 pages?
This feels like a true adaptation that like really is how it should be and it's handled with care and it's just so impressive.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I mean, I don't know if it's a 10 out of 10 movie, but it's really close. Definitely a 9.5. Very solid, very good. Definitely recommend. I would gladly watch it with you again at some point, or just by myself, or with whoever.
Yes, this I think this movie's going to become a staple of like those like modern movies that become one of my favorites to watch. I definitely will be purchasing it on home media because that's what I like to do. And it's going to become a staple as far as like modern movies that I enjoy because it is really up there. I really have no like real complaints about it. Like I think it has a few issues that kind of bring it down a little bit. It's a strong 9 out of 10 for me. I think. Because it would probably be an 8 out of 10 if it was just what it was. But like as such a big fan of the book and like how it has been handled so far, this is a 9 out of 10 for me. It is that impressive.
Yeah, and like obviously it's gonna continue on. So like I can't like really lower its points for feeling like a part 1 because that's what it is. It will become even better once the actual story is like more told. Because like if you just watch any film that's like part of a trilogy or like a series where like they go into each other very well, it's just they are much better like together than separately. And I think this will definitely be an example of that. This is much better as like a standalone film than say Halloween Kills, which is a middle chapter. Like the definition of a middle chapter that needs the next movie is Halloween Kills. Like if for some reason they didn't make a sequel to Halloween Kills would be terrible. I feel like this movie for some reason Dune Part 2 didn't get made. I could still watch this movie and like absolutely love it, but I would just be so sad by the end of it. And I'm glad that's not the case. But
I absolutely agree because I think that's what's most impressive to it is that I think this would stand really well on its own, despite like it is dependent on what comes next, and it's good that it is going to happen. But it stands on its own as a great narrative and a beautiful film overall. And like when you get to the end of it, you're wanting more. And I've noticed that a lot of like reviews online have been kind of like they bring it down the score a little bit, so like it's just like waiting for like a true third act that never actually shows up, and it's like because. That's a lot of movie at one time, and the way this was handled and set up, I think it'll be just right, especially when it'll be in tandem with the follow-up. it's just a testament to how well made it really is. Like how excited you are for the following film to come, and like you just want more at the end. It's fantastic.
Yeah, for sure. And like like I said, I wasn't like absolutely like overly hyped. I wasn't there on day one. I didn't watch all the trailers. I wasn't like eagerly anticipating this, but after seeing this, Dune Part Two is definitely one of my most hyped movies. The year it comes out, it's definitely gonna be up there. I'm definitely gonna keep up when like it's getting filmed. When trailers come out, I'm gonna be there probably opening night. It's just
Yeah.
I'm really like engrossed in the narrative now, and with this film, the director's proven that he really knows what he's doing with the story, and the actors and like everybody involved with this film has like shown that like they know what they're doing. Like even the costumes were like amazing.
Yeah, incredible costume design as well. We didn't even really talk about that. That was really well done too.
Nothing looked cheap, and this movie was surprisingly made of less money than I thought, and like everything looked like they thought it through, and it was done with like perfection. And yeah, even like just
really well.
even just like the eyes of the other people that lived in the desert that had like the blue eyes, even that was like just looked flawless. It didn't look like cheesy or fake at all, which it does in the original movie. And this it looks seamless, and
yeah, it's handled really well. And yeah, like modern technical advancements in film definitely aided a lot, and it was used to its fullest.
yeah, really seeing
really
this, it's like
out.
really seeing this, it's like I don't know how they could have thought they could have made this in the '80s. It doesn't feel like they could have.
Yeah, no. With the scale and the expansiveness and the complexity of this movie, it's just I don't know how they expected to make this movie like without like I mean like obviously they didn't know what advancements were coming, but like eventually we did get those advancements. And now we get a movie like this that is like of this scale, and it's absolutely incredible. I gotta say, the most like essential review I think that I found was on RogerEbert.com, and basically the synopsis of the review was, "I'll always admire Lynch's Dune, a severely compromised dream work that, not surprisingly given Lynch's own inclination, had little use for Herbert's messaging. But this movie is Dune, and that's perfect because this is exactly what I wanted from a Dune film, and it's so well done."
And it's not even like the beginning; it's just the beginning.
I know it's only like half the book, which is why that's why I'm so impressed with it, because this is only like half the story, and it was handled at such a good pace and such a good, just everything was so well done, and I was so happy with it, and I was so ready for every scene, and I adore this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what more else we can say besides easily recommend. Easily.
Yes, go watch it. Just go watch it.
Yeah, definitely probably the best movie I've seen in theaters this year. Shit. But definitely the best cinematic experience. Again, that might be because I saw it in IMAX compared to you, who saw it like in Southridge, which is just like probably the worst theater to see it in. But also, I think you guys were the only one there. Besides, like,
yeah, there was like one more group at the very front of the theater. We were in the very back.
Which is so weird because my theater was packed for some reason. It was weird.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm sure if we would have gone to like a bigger theater, it would have been more. And
Yeah.
there were a lot of cars, and we went to like the later of two showings, so maybe the first showing had a bit more people. So
Yeah, there was a lot of cars, and I mean, definitely some of them are probably to go see like Kills. But Dune is like putting in a lot more money than I thought it would. I didn't know so many people were interested in seeing this. I'm assuming it's because like those big money shots in the trailers of like the giant like sandworm. I think the sandworm is like a character in the story, really just pulls people in a lot, because I don't know how important they are in the later books. I'm assuming they are, but they're really not the biggest part of the story. And that's like a lot, because like
it's a lot of symbolism that has to do with the structural subtext, but like it's not like as a giant worm, like it affects the world a lot. That's not like it's a big selling point, of course, but
well, yeah, But yeah, easily recommend this. You got a lot of choices to watch around this Halloween season. This isn't really a Halloween movie. I'm kind of curious on why they released it in October, but
Yeah, I have no idea. This feels like a December release. I don't know why, but it kind of does.
yeah, I feel like late November, December release would have been much better for this because I don't think much is coming out besides Spider Man in December, which you could have just released it before that. But yeah, this is very good. Not like a Halloween type movie, but definitely go out and see it. Maybe after you see Kills, I don't know, but
Yeah, it's worth the commitment, and it's so impressive.
just don't walk
It
into
has
this.
my
I feel
seal.
like if you don't just don't walk into this expecting a Star Wars movie, or expecting this fast paced action movie. Yeah, it's just walk in
Like,
just
it's not a fun, high octane science fiction epic. I mean, it is an epic, of course, but it's not like that type of epic. It's it's much more about the visual storytelling and the immersive scale and well built characters and just a fantastic film overall.
yeah. But again, easily recommend. Walk in just with an open mind, and I feel like even if you have your expectations a little high, I feel like there's too much to like about this movie to not. I don't think I've seen one review where somebody just openly hates it. There's like some weird bashing in the movie, but I don't get where the bashing's coming from.
Yeah, there's been some weird controversy because people think that there should have been like Arab actors, which is like a little weird because like the story was never like explicitly like tied to the Middle East. Like it's supposed to, like there's a lot of different cultures that are represented in the nuance of the story. So I don't know. There's been a lot of controversy about that specifically, but either way, I don't know.
Yeah, but I think overall, overwhelmingly, this movie is much. It's very well liked, and I am definitely going to be interested in what comes next. And it's an easy recommend for me. Probably go with a 9 out of 10. I could easily watch this again, and I might honestly like it more. But
Yeah, definitely. Subsequent viewings will definitely dictate a lot, and I'm excited for that because I really enjoyed it, and yeah, I think I just think it's so worth it, and I was so excited for it, and it did not disappoint in any way. It actually exceeded my own expectations, and my expectations were pretty high. So, if that tells you anything, just know that it definitely has my seal of approval, and I am just very impressed with this stunning, beautiful film.
yeah, absolutely. I think that's probably all we have to say, really. Besides, go out and support this movie.
For
And
sure.
we don't know for sure yet what we're gonna be talking about next week. We'll figure it out though. But the week after that, we're gonna be covering Eternals probably, which is another 2.5 hour movie. Which we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, probably. I'm honestly not excited for Eternals, but like, who knows? Maybe it'll surprise me.
I think it'll be better than what I expect, but I'm not super excited. We'll have to
Yeah,
see.
I don't know.
I'm more excited for the Hawkeye TV show than I am Eternals, which I'm not that excited with the Hawkeye
That's
show.
sad.
Um,
That's
I'm way more excited for Spider-Man for No Way Home, which I feel like that movie's gonna be busting. But yeah, I mean this. I don't know if there's any really big major releases coming out the rest of the year. I
outside
mean,
of those two. I mean, the Ghostbusters, I guess.
yeah, that's true. I mean, we'll be covering that, of course. And we'll probably cover some other, just like other movies, other random things, whatever there is to talk about. But I don't know of any other big releases coming out until next year. Which they also, I don't know if you heard, but they moved Doctor Strange release date to May.
Yeah, I did see that.
Like they switched all their release dates. So after No Way Home, we had to wait 5 months for Doctor Strange 2, which kind of sucks, but that's fine.
That's awesome. I'm totally like love that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of either. It was weird though. There was no trailer yet. but I was assuming they were waiting a little bit longer. But
That's probably my after Dune. That's my next like most hyped up movie. Like No Way Home is gonna be extremely hyped, but Doctor Strange is my boy, so I can't wait for that.
I'm hyped for that movie. I'm a little concerned though that they might be overstuffing the movie, but then again, it's Sam Raimi, and I feel like they'll do it right. We'll have to see
I
though.
mean, yeah, it is Sam Raimi. Come on,
I feel like that movie's gonna be
I love Sam Raimi. Sam's my boy.
as even if that movie for some reason isn't like my favorite thing as a film. I know it's gonna be like just such a wild and unique ride. So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, and just it's been so long since the first Doctor Strange came out. It took them a long time to make the sequel, which shows me they have something special. But yeah, because I can't think of anything else really. Because I guess in January there's Scream, but yeah,
It's coming out. I kind of keep forgetting about that.
yeah, it's
That is
January.
gonna happen.
It's January. It's weird. I know
January. It's like a shoot.
the film's
like,
been the
release
film's
date.
been completed since like the beginning of the year. Like, why not just release in October? But yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess that's exciting for Scream fans. It looks to be like a promising entry. So
Well, yeah.
we'll
There's
have
like
to see.
nothing. There's like nothing coming out this week that's like that big. They could have just released Scream like literally like the day before Halloween and just bring in like millions of dollars. But whatever.
Yeah, just not. Never mind.
But yeah. I'm. By the way, I'm very happy we're gonna be done soon with this whole same day release on streaming because it's dumb. But
Yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with that ending.
yeah.
I understand why, and like I'm not like I get it, but like
Well, yeah, like they
I
said,
am like
they did
supportive
say,
of
you
the
know,
series, so
they did say at the beginning of the year, every single release would be like simultaneous. So of course, I'm not going to go back on that. But I feel like next year they probably will maybe do that a little bit, but I feel like it's going to stop a lot. Because like the fucking Peacock,
yeah.
fucking like the
No more
week before Halloween Kills. Oh yeah, by the way, same day on Peacock. It's like, shut up.
Yeah. By the way, this is releasing on in theaters, but also on Paramount Plus. So go get Paramount Plus.
Yeah. Oh wait, I think Jackass comes out in January too, so we can see that.
By the way, Jackass Forever is releasing, and it's also same day releasing on Tubi. So download Tubi.
No.
I'm actually really happy. I haven't seen the Jackass Forever trailer in the past few times that I've gone to movies. The past few movies I've seen, which is awesome. I'm so sick of that trailer, and I'm already sick of that movie that hasn't been released.
Yeah, but
It's supposed to release this month, but you know,
what?
it was originally supposed to release this month.
Yeah, then they changed it because of COVID. Like this movie was gonna make money anyway. But
Yeah.
I think we do.
Episode 49. We're good.
Also, I just like I watched a video recently about Old because like somebody was like going over M. Night Shyamalan's career, and I think I dislike Old like as like every month passes. Like I dislike it more and more.
Old was not very good.
Like it might be like a 2 out of 10. Like I'm being serious.
Yeah, Old wasn't good. My initial reaction was not positive, and like, it still isn't. I don't know what like when we covered it. I don't know what I said, but like it's always hovered around like a 3 out of 10. Maybe it's 2 out of 10.
I
'Cause it really
remember
wasn't
I remember when we reviewed it, we were very like mid on it. Like didn't like hate it, but like we thought like it at least was like unique and like had its own ideas. But like just the more I think about it, like it really was bad at like even the new things it was doing. Besides like a few things, but
Yeah, it was really kind of stupid. It was like pretty tame as far as like Shyamalan movies go, and it wasn't very impressive in like really any way. It was also pretty boring, and I don't know. Just Old was not very good.
yeah, it hasn't aged well. Also,
Well, yeah, that's all I can handle for this week. So
I mean, I know for sure at the end of the year we'll probably like talk about it and like kind of go through every film we saw in the year and like rank them. Maybe we'll see.
yeah, that's what I was gonna propose that idea to you. Hopefully, we can just go over all the movies that we've seen, get like a list together.
Well, yeah,
Maybe do like a ranking.
I just
get the
remember
discussion.
at the end of the year always getting excited like all my favorite YouTubers to be like top 10 worst, top 10 best of the year.
Yeah, that used to be something I looked forward to all the time. You know.
And then like now they're like okay, top 15 plus 14 honorable mentions plus 3 almost making it.
Here's our top 10 with 10 honorable mentions and a few other films that I wanted to mention but just couldn't quite fit them in, so I'm going to mention them anyway. So basically, it's actually a top 30.
Yeah. But yeah, yeah, for sure. And then we'll also have like a whole month where we can do in-person ones again. So there's
Yeah,
that.
that's gonna be exciting. December is gonna be pretty hype.
Yeah, we'll have to see about what all we're gonna cover, but yeah, that's
Oh yeah,
probably.
we have a new Resident Evil movie coming out this year,
Yeah, doesn't
next
it
month.
come out like next month?
Yeah, it comes out like around Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely, we can definitely cover it. I don't know if I'll see it around Thanksgiving though. I might be like doing better things with my time, but
Probably, yeah.
because like it doesn't look good, but it looks like so much better than whatever the fuck those last like 7 movies were.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have high hopes for it because it is a Resident Evil movie, but
Also,
maybe
like
it will be like
I'm not even
incredible.
like super big into like the earlier games because I haven't like looked into it, but like the casting just already seems off. I don't know.
Yeah, it's always seemed off, honestly. Like outside of a few characters, but who knows? I'm not like a huge fan of the games. Like I played them and enjoyed them. At
I
least the
think
first three.
I just think Resident Evil like it's like already like a interactive kind of movie video game. Like why make a movie? Also, like the Uncharted trailer looked fucking terrible.
Yeah, I am not excited for Uncharted at all. Like it was just kind of weird. Like, oh, by the way, this is happening and it's coming out very soon. Like I had
Again,
heard about it, but like it was
Sony's
like, oh, by the way,
just
this is like in like a few months. But
Sony's just terrible. I hate Sony. And then it's just like if you're gonna make an Uncharted movie, why did you make the most worst casting decisions I've ever seen?
why is Mark Wahlberg in an Uncharted movie?
Why is Tom Holland playing the main character? He's like 12.
Tom Holland. I mean, I guess he kind of looks Nathan Drake, maybe, but he doesn't see. He's never seemed like a Nathan Drake to me. I don't know. This is weird.
Also, why make a fucking Uncharted movie? The first, like, all the games are like 10 hours long, and like it's a big interactive story. Like it's already a movie.
Yeah, pretty much.
Also, they're
It
making a,
just
they're
not
making,
necessary.
they're making a Last of Us TV show, which I guess I'm kind of excited for because it might be good. But like, it's just like it's so unneeded because The Last of Us
But
is literally like the best like story video game ever. Like, it's you don't need a movie or like a TV show about it.
yeah, and they're making a Mario movie with Illumination.
And fucking Chris Pratt as Mario. Like Mario doesn't need to be a movie. I mean, I guess maybe like an animated TV show would work, but like it's a he's not he's a
It does. It's the most iconic video game character ever. I get it, but like, just let it be video game. Like, what?
we're getting a Sonic movie and like we're getting a sequel to it.
Yeah, that's true.
Which I saw like this very weird post where I guess a random interviewer asked Idris Elba, who's voicing Knuckles in the film, if he's gonna give Knuckles a sexy voice, and he said, "I didn't really envision this pink hedgehog with a sexual voice in mind, so no, I'm just gonna kind of like do the voice I was asked to do."
Yeah, that seems a little. I don't know.
Also,
Next year's, I think, is gonna be a very odd year for
Idris
films.
Elba is playing fucking Knuckles.
Yeah.
The hit
I don't.
Hobbs,
I don't know.
the hit,
I'm upset about that. I'm not gonna lie.
the hit Hobbs and Shaw villain. Also, where's Hobbs and Shaw 2? Like, I want that over FS10. What the fuck?
Yeah, I would much prefer to have Hobbs and Shaw too. Hobbs and Shaw may not have been like a good movie, but at least it was like fun and enjoyable. You know, I'd want to see like a sequel to that way more than whatever the hell F9 was and continuing any of that because it's awful and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of Vin Diesel. I'm sick of family. I'm sick of all of that.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Universal sucked this year because like they had like Trolls and like Fast 9 and like they had Halloween Kills, but like that's like the one outlier.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it hasn't been the strongest year for film, but like, and like you said, we'll probably like at the end of the year like discuss everything. Maybe do a little ranking. That'd be cool. But like, it's just like I don't. Yeah.
Well, what I can definitely say is right now, the best theater experience is this movie Dune. The worst is probably F9 because that movie felt so long. Oh my fucking god.
Yeah, and that and like that, just of note, you didn't see Space Jam. Um, F9 is very bad, and I would say it's the worst movie that you have seen this year in the theater. But the worst movie I've seen in the theater is Space Jam: A New Legacy this year, and Dune is by far the best. I think Dune is fantastic. So
I don't think anything's
that's where
gonna.
that's
I don't.
problem.
I don't think anything's gonna beat Dune. I know No Way Home is gonna be up there, but probably not gonna beat it.
Yeah, I don't know how much No Way Home is gonna like measure up as like an actual film, Like, it'll be a great spectacle, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, for sure. Because there's no more DC movies coming out, is there? No. Because the next one's the Batman, which is in March. So.
Yeah, that's. I mean, Black Adam comes out next summer.
I'm actually excited for that. I mean, the first look was like interesting. I don't know how good it's gonna be though. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I'm rather curious. Well, I mean, we'll just have to see how that goes. I mean, Doctor Fate gets me excited, obviously.
I just want The Rock to like play like a villainous like anti-hero character and not be like The Rock in like every other movie he's been in.
Yeah.
I don't want
because The Rock is always just The Rock, even in Jungle Cruise, which I haven't seen. But today I was asked if I had seen that. Like, out of the movies that I've seen so far, like, they were like, "Did you see Jungle Cruise?" And I was like,
No.
Why would I do that?
Apparently it's getting a sequel, by the way, like Jungle Cruise 2.
Jungle Cruise 2, because that's what the world needs. We need Cruise 2.
I just remember The Rock like had like a live stream and he's like, "Guys, I got some very important big news for all you Jungle Cruise fans. We're making a sequel. Get ready for more adventures."
Thank you, God. Thank you, Dwayne Johnson. Just thank you so much for your existence and you doing that. Just thank you.
And then he like rapped in a new video.
Yeah, we could probably do a whole video or a whole podcast on just The Rock and his performances and just what he does in like media because oh my god.
I loved the Journey 2 movie.
Journey 2, The Mysterious Island.
They never made Journey. They never made Journey 3 like to the moon.
Yeah.
Which was like it's
Journey 3, the 3 inning.
It's still on IMDb, I think. Like it's like still says it's like in pre-production, and I think it's like been in pre-production since like late 2011.
Yeah, it's been in pre-production for like a decade. What like?
What's taking so long? Are they actually going to the fucking moon?
Who knows?
Dude, imagine when they're.
I don't know if that. Imagine if that would take 10 years.
Imagine in the future when like the first like movie ever like films on the moon.
That would be kind of insane.
Yeah, I know. Like they've talked about it. I remember when before. Now we're just kind of like talking about random stuff.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that's what the podcast can be. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I mean, I should probably call back my girlfriend at some point. She hasn't been replying, so I think she might have fell back asleep, which is a little concerning.
She's probably dead, dude. Like, I probably might actually be dying because she was in a legal coma, I think, today. So.
Yeah, she said she like feels sick, like doesn't feel good. But like for 24 hours.
Maybe Dune was just too good of an experience for her, so now she's just like.
Well, she did like eat like a lot of like strange food with Trinity yesterday. Like she was like described, she had like a bad like bathroom experience, and I was like, "Well, what'd you eat today?" And then, like it was like, "Oh, I had popcorn, cotton candy." That they took cotton candy and they put it in water until it dissolved and just drank the water. And I was like, "That is like, why are you two doing that? What went through your guys' head? Why are you doing that? Just eat cotton candy." But
What?
Yeah, you didn't know that they were like they were sticking cotton candy in water bottles and then drinking that, and I was like, I mean, I think you can do that, but like, why?
Okay then.
So that probably didn't make him feel the greatest because that's just a lot of sugar, and then
That's good to know.
yeah, they ate like popcorn and like they had like IHOP leftovers, and I was like, that sounds like a great healthy meal for today. And then
It sounds like you really just implode afterward, like.
yeah, so it's probably that they have like very weird eating choices, but because then they also had dinner. I don't know what they had for dinner last night, but
I have no idea.
yeah, because I saw him doing the cotton candy stuff. I was like, what are you doing? And then like Trinity already like made hers, and like I was like, I'm doing what Trinity did, where like we're just putting cotton candy in water and just drinking it. And I was like, why? What went through your head? Like it dissolves, and I was like, they're like it dissolves in water, and I was like, still, why the fuck are you drinking it?
Yeah, just because something dissolves doesn't mean you should drink it. Like I'm sure, like many like toxic things dissolve, and then it's like, oh, well, now I can consume it because it dissolved.
Yeah. And she's like, hey.
Anyway, go see. Great.
Yeah, go see Dune, definitely. Don't see the Asylum's rip off of Dune.
Yeah, Planet Dune.
I kind of want to watch it. I kind of want to watch it with you and just like see your reaction.
Why? I just no, dude. that's a major no-go for me.
It's only an hour and a half, and
Oh my god.
I don't know, it might be funny. I'm assuming at some point we'll do like commentaries on this, because I kind of thought about that. I mean, that might be fun.
I'd be very interested in that.
Yeah. Probably better in person though. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe
sure.
that's something we can do over the summer. But
I gotta say, I'm so excited for when we can do in-person episodes again. Like, you have no idea.
faux show. Maybe Tommy will be there just to look.
Tommy will be there just to, like, sit in the corner.
I'm surprised he didn't take Tommy, so the whole time he could just been bored and just been like, God, I hate this stupid fucking movie while he's not paying attention on his phone.
That's Tommy for you.
Dude, he kept bringing up Bambi meets Godzilla, and he's like, this is my favorite Godzilla movie. And I was like, it's 2 minutes long. That's not a movie. And he's like, I don't care. And I was like, that's illegally, like, not a movie. That's, like, legally not a movie. That's, like, barely a short film.
Yeah, that's not anything.
And I was like, I know you haven't
It's my
fucking seen
favorite
it.
Godzilla, like, what?
I was like, if it's your favorite Godzilla
You just
media.
don't- How do you know I haven't seen it? How do you know? It's like, no, you have not seen Bambi meets Godzilla.
He said he looked it up and watched it. And I was like, okay. Why would you do that to yourself? But, yeah. Tommy sucks. Just kidding. He's alright. He's not watching.
Be sure to like.
He hates our podcast.
Be sure to like and subscribe. Comment your thoughts down below. If you saw Dune, tell us why you love it. If you haven't seen Dune, go see it. You'll love it. And yeah.
Yeah, well, we don't know for sure. We'll be talking about next week, but you guys will find out when it's uploaded and rendered on YouTube. Because I don't have a Twitter account yet up for this. But yeah,
AmityCast Twitter would.
I still need to send Justin our avatar to get it personalized, and I haven't done that since like April, I think. So.
Since the Snyder Cut.
Yeah, but we'll see. Yeah, Justin asked yesterday, he's like, when's the next podcast? And I was like, the same day. It's always been every week for the last like 3 months.
It's always been on every Wednesday.
I'm like you, Justin. I upload. But yeah, we'll catch you guys next week. This is almost an hour and a half long, but yeah, you guys have a good day or night wherever you are. Be sure to like and subscribe. Go see Dune. I can't emphasize enough. Go see Dune. But yeah,
yes.
You should go Dune it.
All right. Well, thank you for being in this episode of AmityCast.
Yeah. Yeah.